Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
John Riggio joining us here live once again. Author, architect, pro tennis player, and just an amazing soul joining us today. Can't wait to hear more of our stories. And hold on, he's leaning over, ladies and gentlemen. He might be showing us a copy of the book. What do you got?
Yes, I just wanted to make sure.
I knew it. Good.
Okay, today I talked about my architect profession, but I also like to talk about years ago when I was a pro tennis player. And I wrote a book last year about it. It's right here. My Own Court, The Life Story of Tennis Legend John Riggio. Book. It shows all the stories. I don't have any foul language in it. It's really very clean book to read. It's good. Like even if you're early teen to read this book, you really like it. You learn a lot of things. And from the book, I talk about when I'm very young, learning tennis with my parents, and growing and making my way to play pro tennis, make my own tennis club. And then later on, it explains my college years and getting my architect profession. And explains all those different experiences. You'd really like it.
Okay.
So today, from last week, and it's been an ongoing thing of remembering the past, and it's really unbelievable. So this is really like some entertainment friends that I made over the years. And the amazing thing about this is the stories I'm talking about now are a little bit more in-depth than the book. So the whole thing, the book and everything, a lot of the things are more like, say, like an after-school special. Thing with happening were stories that came when I was playing at Sutton East. This is my own tennis center. I'm a $1 million contract player. I have my sponsor there. The tennis center is in Manhattan, New York City. And at that time, I have other people like to come to the tennis center. They're other entertainers, and they're allowed to come there, watch my tennis, and I talk to them, make friends with them. So at this time, I've been talking about from the previous recordings is I made friends with a couple of other entertainers. One of them was Terri. And today I have a nice clean photograph of Terri. She is on YouTube over here. So I cropped a picture. This is Terri. So this is, I see in this picture, she has a cell phone, but years ago, we didn't have cell phones. This is after the cell phones. And this is her here that shows her stage name on the top left of the picture, Tia Ling. And this is just a picture that is publicly shown on YouTube. And there's nothing strange about it. This one here, let me just close this now.
Okay.
So that is her picture. And as I was discussing the last time, I made friends with her, but there were some problems with continuing to know her. We got caught outside the tennis center together. They wouldn't let her back in, and where she's living in a group home in Manhattan, I was not allowed to go visit her. They had someone watching the outside, and I was not permitted. So I never got to talk to her for a while. And so that relationship, unfortunately, just went on idle. We had no problems. She was very nice. And in fact, the stopping off at her group home, I did meet one of the other entertainers, Jayden Lee, was there. She introduced me to her. They were living there for a while. And so then after that, I met my new friend, Liz. Now, Liz seems to have brought a whole bunch of adventures to me, and I've been talking about them in the past. But the adventures, instead of them stopping, they get even more unbelievable. And it took me a while to really remember what had happened.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a very nice young lady, Liz. Her name is Liz Cosmo Walker. She is someone that very interestingly I met at the Sutton Tennis Center, but I had also had this amazing adventure years and years earlier.
Yeah.
So this is unbelievable story. So where I'm living in a suburbs, very nice neighborhood. Usual things are going on there. Kids playing field sports, things like that. That's how I was always stayed in great shape, things like that with the neighborhood friends. And just by chance, I met Liz and some other people around there. Liz had this horror story of somehow getting kidnapped. She was the brigadier general's daughter, and she had to have this cult marriage with someone named Brian Dahl. So what happened is um, we ended up, I ended up meeting her when I was only like 15 years old. So all the kids they go to play in the school year, this kid's like maybe between 7 years old and maybe 19 years old on the fields. I think most things were okay. There's nothing really strange going on.
Yeah.
But for some reason, one of my friends in that group, he was another kid that had this problem from what he described, that he was forced to help out these people doing this adult entertainment too. And he had his friend from that whole thing, which was Mr. Dahl, he invited him down to play field football. Now, I think when they were there, I sort of got a strange idea. Maybe he's there to grab my butt or something. I don't know what was the story. But we played this game of tackle field football, and this is everyone plays this at home. Unfortunately, on one play, I tackled him down to the ground, and yeah, it's like I thought. I thought something strange was going to happen, and it turns out it did. We ended up having a fist fight, and I ended up, punching him and knocking him out.
Yeah.
I think Liz was there on the sidelines, and she's only like 8 years old. I don't know,
Yeah.
7 years old, 8 years old. I think even back then, I had walked past her, and she was sort of happy to see me. And you know what she told me? The strangest thing that I was unbelievable. I don't think most people would have this experience. She said that she is really kidnapped. Can you please help me?
Yeah.
She said it, very, under a low tone, so no one could hear it.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, I said, I didn't really say anything at that time to her explaining anything about helping her. But what happened was that event went away. And the game was over. Everything was okay. The whole fight, they didn't make a big thing of it.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, what I saw there was Liz having to climb back into this black SUV that pulled up.
Ooh.
So, and the other kid that was there, he got into the car with them and they drove away. Now, my neighborhood friend, he knows them. They have this thing at Lawrence Video in New York City. And I was told the strangest horror that somehow she's sleeping in the basement on a mattress.
Oh my gosh.
And so what I did was I asked some of my neighborhood friends around me, kids that I was playing the field football with, and asked them if they're interested to help her because I told them, she told me she wants help. She's kidnapped. She wasn't really like the younger sister of the kid. I think we assumed that was like a younger sister or something.
Yeah.
She wasn't the younger sister. She told me she's really kidnapped. I took it very serious. I didn't think it was funny. So out of that whole group, no one wanted to help her.
Wow.
The only one who was really willing to help a little was my neighborhood friend that really was doing things at that video place. He ended up going there very often. He had the same kind of situation like Liz somehow, yet he was doing his everyday thing, going to school, working, and yet he had to help them out.
Mm-hmm.
Then I asked my mother. Now, my mother back then wasn't really like identity theft. She was much better. She said, yes, she wants to help. But what she did is she got on the telephone and she called someone. I don't know who she called. And she told me this thing that if they don't do something to help her by a certain date, we can go and help her. The idea was to have my friend open the door and let her run out where she's not a captive. So that's what we did. We got in the car, me and my mother drove down there over to the Lawrence Video, parked on the side. It's on a corner property, parked on the side, and there's a side door. And my friend walks out of the side door. He's dressed really funny too. He's dressed like some kind of funny vaudeville show. I mean, it was really interesting what was going on. He walks out over to the car and tells my mother that she is not there. They moved her, which in fact wasn't really a bad thing because since my mother had made some phone calls, it took a little while, but it looks like they got her into a group home. And then they eventually had the mother pick her up, bring her back to Cleveland, Ohio. Now, the other thing at that time, too, was there was another young girl in there, too. And I was willing to help her out, too. I mean, the first one, don't know who she was. I have no idea her name or any of her stories. I have no idea about her family. I have no idea. All she did was ask for help. So this other young girl that was also there that they're keeping in the basement, she could run out and get away. But what happened was instead, my mother made the same kind of phone call. And she, in fact, had the same type of thing. They had her go to a group home and go back to her parents. So I was 100% successful to help Liz and even her friend. The friend turned out to be Jayden Lee, which I ended up meeting years later too, just by coincidence. It's the strangest thing. They were both 100% free, went back to their parents. And so I think there was no real reason for them to have to go back to that whole scene again. That wasn't up to me. I think it had to do with, particularly with Liz, it had to do with her mother, who also was put under a lot of pressure. She had to make all kinds of strange agreements with these people that all of a sudden her daughter had to help the cult, cult, which was really, very strange. So at this time, I have no idea who these two young girls are. All I did was help them out. It was 100% successful, and this worked really good. And I was happy about it. I didn't want to let this slide and just see horrible things happen in front of me and not do anything. I didn't want to let that happen. And this is at a young age, maybe only 15 years old. I didn't have a driver's license or anything. And I think doing that overall did help. I was able to free both of them. They both went back to their parents. Somehow, over the next years or something, they ended up having to still do things with those people. And I guess that was their own agreement that happened between, particularly with Liz's parent. I have no idea what the story was, which was really strange. And but that event took place. And so after that, we drove back. No problem. I was updated on the situation of both of those young girls by my neighborhood friend, and everything was good. Everything was pretty good with that. There was no problems. And that was really an amazing story. So just by chance, the same Liz I met years later at Sutton East playing tennis. It is really an amazing story what had happened with this. And what also happened very strangely, I think since I helped both of them, I think to rationalize me helping them, because I think no one wanted to help them at all, they sort of told me that they had to say that I was like a sponsor, like my pro shop in tennis, helping somebody at a young age. Somehow they had to say that I was like the sponsor helping them, I think. And that was the idea to calm them down, that I really got them free from captivity. And that was the strangest thing. I think somehow they had to put that down about them. That was the almost unbelievable thing. And I think then, so as far as like chronologically what was happening with the story with Liz, my entertainment friend, I think I was talking on one of the videos also of why there was someone around this. And I didn't want to say the horror. This is another horror that happened. So she's back in Cleveland after she's in a coma, then she drops into a coma again. I'm helping her out with some money. And she goes into the store one day, and this is a store she usually frequents, and she says like somehow she was there when someone was like gonna rob the store or something. They walk in and they point a handgun right at her. Although nothing happened to her at all. This somehow brought about this problem with what I'm talking about, where there was someone else around. That was the real hard facts for what was happening. It wasn't my imagination. It was just something very strange. I don't know if anyone knows what the whole story is all about or why that would happen. And so what happens is over the course of the years with the tennis, and I talked about this in my book, is the tennis I sort of forget about at different chapters. My tennis is over. I'm just working on my professional work. I get married to a school teacher from China, and we're living in New York City. And just by chance, there's the strangest thing going on in New York City. If you go to the New York City building department, say you're working there like an expediter or something, there's a strange coincidence that people going to the building department end up doing this thing, this routine of going over to this large video. So I'm home in my apartment, and for some reason, my wife keeps receiving these phone calls.
Oh my gosh.
For an appointment to go down there. And I think something like that isn't strange. I mean, everyone is into something, maybe go and get pictures for yourself or something like that. It isn't strange to do. I don't know if my wife at that time, Anne, had ever really went down there.
Mm-hmm.
But in fact, what happened, there was someone that kept calling. And I answered the phone a few times about it. And I was saying that she doesn't want to go there. And the person on the other line says, Liz. Now, this is happening like I talked about in the book. I didn't really remember tennis. I wasn't thinking about tennis. I wasn't remembering any entertainment people or anyone like that. It turns out it's my friend Liz is on the phone. They have her making phone calls, making appointments for people to go down to the same place.
Mm-hmm.
And I did talk to her a little bit. She invited me someplace else. So what happened is she somehow she was reminding me. She remembered me much better. This is one interesting thing about it. So she stayed with her memory, but in fact, what happened was I was just saying this. My wife does not want to go down there. You don't need to make any appointments, and so that's really what happened. So the phone call for that whole thing sort of subsided. But I think this was also another thing that I was also discussing was this thing about that I sort of don't say anything bad about those people.
Mm-hmm.
I don't worry myself about them. But I noticed somehow they keep sticking their nose into business every minute. I don't know why that was happening. I was concerned it was really just to cause me a lot of problems. Is instead of trying to help or do anything more inclusive, if they're trying to make friends, I don't know if they're trying to make friends with us or something. I have no idea. I mean, they could have been a little more explanatory what's going on. I just assumed, just thinking about it, that they were just causing a problem. I have no idea what the story was. So what happened just amazingly from the last podcast, this story, I think this amazing story, what was happening. I think I was sort of winning a lot of things about Liz and her family. In fact, I ended up meeting her mother somehow years later, and she, in fact, approved of the marriage all of a sudden, but I was already somewhat older. But I think it was still a possibility. In fact, somehow I talked to her, and she was happy. I think originally she said she'd rather die than ever meet me in person.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, she was really crazy. And in fact, I don't know if she ever even knew that I'm the one who saved her when her daughter was like 7 years old or something. I was really unbelievable what was happening with that whole story. It's an unbelievable story that somehow I ended up helping her when she was so young, and then she ended up uh, becoming a girlfriend of mine, and it ended up with a Las Vegas wedding. So I mean, that's what happened. Now, what was happening also at that age is, Liz is like from the first day I met her when she was 7 years old. She said the same thing. She doesn't want to stay with them. She's forced to do things with them, and she was saying also she can get physically hurt. So you know what I did? I tried to pay for her to stay free from me. So what I did is I I asked how much they want for her to get away from that group of people. Now, originally, when I was interested to marry the Liz, like when in like 1988, the mother said she was only valued at $10,000. She wanted $10,000, and I can get married to her, and she can leave the home. So now I asked how much they want for her to leave this whole video thing. They say $5,000. So I say, okay, I bring them a $5,000 check. They say no, they changed their mind. This is not allowed. And then just by chance with that same conversation, I was willing to give them some money so she wouldn't get hurt doing her video. Because I don't know what was happening with them. It's really a strange story. So I think that was a really amazing thing. And so I think as far as the marriages and the females are concerned, so in 1998, I'm playing there at Sutton East. I'm back at Sutton East after the whole thing with the Mitsubishi, the $100 million contract, Reebok, Adidas investing in me, and Leona Helmsley buys into that contract, and now my contract is all the way up, going all the way up to like over $120 million.
Yeah.
So Leona Helms is really nice. She really wants me to play tennis, win, and I was winning for her. And she was interested to match me with someone nice at that age. She knew I'm a little older, and she knew about how Delia had passed on, and she wanted me to find someone nice. So one very nice female that she paired me with that had a similar size contract was someone named Stephanie Germanola. Have you heard of Stephanie Germanola?
No.
You know who she is? She's really Lady Gaga.
Oh, okay, that's right.
So she had a $100 million contract at the time, and I had a $100 million contract.
Oh my gosh.
And so she put us together.
Wow. And he knows Lady Gaga.
We started to make friends, and she was doing pretty good. I think at the time I met her, it's like 1998. She's becoming pretty popular. She was pretty good. She came over to the tennis center. She even had a chauffeur car at that time, so she's doing pretty good.
Aww.
And I think she's also the one that had like a sideline of interior design over in Yonkers too.
Wow.
But just by chance, I called her in that slot of things at a separate time. I had talked to her on the phone too with that. And so what happened is, I talked to her. She's really nice. She is really nice. I think the only problem with her is she has someone who's really like her partner. I have a little thing here, her bio. Let me share the bio.
Sure.
I think at this point, everyone knows their bio and everything. Okay, so this here is her bio. So I met her, and she has a motorhome too. So she is this is so a lot of this is one I had already originally known. I think there's a little age discrepancy. She's only 9 years younger than me.
Okay.
When I met her, she is 20 years younger than me, and so I knew her back in 1989. Let me see what is going on here. Yeah, okay, so it's really at the start of her career, according to this. And so this here is this, and so this is just her basic thing. I think everyone knows this at this point. And so she became a really popular name, well known. And but we were at the same level contract, and so Leona helped me match us together to make friends. Let's see, so that was very good. In fact, but I think the only thing that shows here, let me just give it a one more share, is
There
um
we go.
yeah, I think she has a partner. I don't know. Back then
Is
she
she
had a partner.
married? I don't know. Is she?
She has some kind of partner. I don't know. I think at the
Okay.
time there was someone with her, so she wasn't really available for marriage, even
Oh.
though we were introduced and got to know each other a little bit. So that was pretty good. But she was at the same level, and I think it was pretty good. We discussed a number of things about entertainment, contract, and um, of course, she's a serious entertainer, very busy, and she has some kind of like assistant with her all the time. But that was one arrangement, and I think she was pretty good. I think originally when I met her, she wasn't sure if I would like her.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so a lot of people don't like her real last name, but I thought it was very nice. Overall, she is very nice to meet and everything like that. She isn't a mixed match. She's pretty good, and so I think she has the same kind of entertainment contract with all kinds of stand-ins, things like that. So this was pretty good, and I think that is really one highlight too. Since my contract was so large and I was generating a lot of money, I was really like at the same level with Miss Germanola, which is Lady Gaga at the time, and
Nice.
she was really just an everyday person to talk to,
Mm-hmm.
no different than myself, and I think it was a really excellent experience and things like that. But I think that was, and I think that also was going with these other stories I'm talking about,
No.
where you need like permission to get married, permission to
Mm-hmm.
have some sort of relationship outside of the entertainment areas, like the tennis center, which was really very intense thing. No one told me about what the situation is with that whole,
No.
like, why that's existing, what the reason is. And I think like when you're growing up, they have things like arranged marriages or things like that. Like maybe the parents will say it's okay. But I think this was very nice to put together a nice marriage within the entertainment world. And they gave me full approval also to do things with Miss Germanata. So she was a very nice match, and she was really at that same contract level. And I learned a lot, talking to her and things like that. But I think the only thing with the whole thing is maybe like pre-screening who I'm talking to. Some people that are already married, they already have a plan of what they're doing and things like that. That were so there was
Mm-hmm.
a little wasted time, but otherwise it was a very nice experience. And I think from my podcast, you can see a lot of people that I met and talked to and things like that. They're all on television. I think Lady Gaga, she's shown right there in the Super Bowl. I mean, it's all these people I still know them. I noticed the musicians are much long-lasting career. A sportman, they can't really play great so many years.
Yeah.
Like I played very long in the end compared to just playing like maybe 2 weeks,
All right. We
2
gotta.
years.
Sorry, we gotta go. We gotta wrap it up. But I love hearing all your stories as always. Go ahead. Go ahead, John.
Yes. But yeah, a lot of music singers, a lot of times they pair them with me. I know a lot of individual music singers. They have very large contracts, and since I was able to win big, my contracts are really equal to a lot of these musician singers, there's vocalists.
All right, John Riggio, pro tennis player. Google him. He's all over Facebook. Check out his group. We'll talk soon.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.